Hello. And how are
Hey.
you?
Great.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
having us.
you.
Haven't you? We're going to introduce ourselves from the left to the right. We're going to start over there in the corner. Miss Ma'am in a green shirt.
Vanessa.
No last
Oh,
names.
right on.
We don't do that.
Vanessa.
We got warrants.
All right.
That's what's up. Go ahead.
Lisa, how y'all doing?
All right, all right.
My name is Chanel.
Nelly Bell.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
And over here is Kimetria, but you can call me Kim.
Okay, slob.
And I am Renee.
I put it on there. She said, I'm Renee. Y'all didn't see. She put them things on the mic. Y'all didn't see. So thank you guys for being here again. Like I said, I know the games are on and Sunday afternoon and y'all can be anywhere, but y'all actually I appreciate it because I didn't say what I was going to do. I just said meet me and you guys came and I appreciate you.
Tell us how much we trust you.
Yeah. You shouldn't do that.
I know. I was hesitant. Very hesitant.
Where's your purse? Okay, so my first question is when I have the same demographic, and you guys think about this question. Whoever wants to answer it first can answer it first. If you just want to take everything in, that's fine. What don't people know about what it is being a black woman out here? Tell me what people got. I'm gonna have a segment. They got me effed up. That can be the segment. Whatever you want to say it. What do they have you effed up about out here in these streets? So when you think about it, what don't they know about how it is to walk around and carry this thing that we have? Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say that a lot of times where I feel that the black woman is not appreciated. And what I mean by being appreciated is that, it seems to me like they take so much from us, whether it's our identity, our ideas, our being.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get, it seems like the black woman is the last one to get appreciation from the men, whether it be a black male, any race of
Any
male.
male. Okay.
And then other women who take our identity and our ideals and everything else that goes along with it. And it's like we're being dismissed.
I see a lot of heads shaking. You guys feel what she's saying?
Yes, 100%.
Do you feel like I remember we always go back to the old quote by Malcolm X saying the most disrespected person in America is the black woman. Do you still agree with that?
I do.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I do.
Why do you think that is? Think about that hard. Why do you think that is?
I think a lot of media has a lot to do with it. You see so many prominent relationships. You see so many athletic and movie stars that tend to not date black women. And I think that it puts us on a lower scale. Like, since I'm making money, I want the top of the line. We're not considered top of the line to some people.
Not upper echelon. So let me ask you, do you think that other people seeing that if your own men feel this way, how should we treat you? We shouldn't put you in a certain place even based on how your own race looks at you. So we're gonna look at you maybe in that same light. Do you think that
I feel that could be, and then too, it could be other black women, like black women with their sons dating. Oh, I'm gonna have such a cute grandbaby. Not in my house because I have 5 sons and not in my house. But I'm just saying, I've seen.
But explain that though. When you said I'm gonna have such a cute baby,
Okay.
explain because I know we all know the thought process, but explain it.
Okay, so I have some friends who are parents. I'll say grandmothers, and they kind of encourage, having a mixed race grandbaby. Oh, it's gonna be such a cute baby, this and that. And what kind of message are you giving to your sons? You're
Right.
a black woman who bore black sons.
Right.
So I really take offense to that.
I got you. Anybody else want to come in on that? Go ahead, Chanel.
I think going back to the Malcolm X quote of us being the most disrespected, it was we consider us with probably one of the most two marginalized groups. We're both women and we're both black.
Mm-hmm.
So
So we double minority.
Right.
absolutely,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Right.
And we carry a lot. We carry so much. And going back to what you said about how we're perceived in the media, how back in the day, like we weren't actually seen as being beautiful. We weren't desirable. Right. A lot of times we're the mammy. If we were desirable, we were the Jezebel. We were over sexualized. So it's a lot of stuff that we carry as black women, and a lot of us seem well. for me, example, I feel like I have to suppress myself in certain spaces, white spaces. I can't be overly loud because okay, she's that's the loud one. I can't be
Mhm.
angry. I can't be upset. I can't voice my opinion because oh yeah, she's angry.
The
That's
angry
The
black
angry
woman that we
black
get
so,
called.
and unfortunately, our black men, not all of our black men, let me say that, but some of our black men have upheld some of those um, white talking points about black women, of us being loud,
Mhm.
of us being uneducated, of us being ugly.
Right.
So we are fighting
Absolutely.
too many levels. So okay, yeah, we're gonna be upset because like look at the shit, the stuff that we are
No, you can.
facing,
Hey, do your thing.
the shit that we are
Yes,
facing.
say it.
From
Feel
multiple
that.
people, we have to bury your children, and we're still seen as less than. Even I'm gonna say it to our black men, we're seen
Right.
as less than.
You know what? I've never shared this experience before, but I'm gonna share it just to kind of illustrate something that I've been through. And what I appreciate is that you didn't say all black men because all black men don't feel that way.
True.
But I think any of them that do is too many.
Right.
You understand?
Right. Good point.
Yes,
Good
So back in the day, and I was probably, I don't know, 19, and I was dating this guy down at Camp Pendleton, right? And we were all chilling. I'm always, I blend with pretty much everybody. So it was like, it was a diverse crowd of us. And we're all chilling outside they lived in this beautiful complex and it had a pool and it had a jacuzzi and things like that. And we're all chilling. I wasn't, I didn't drink. We're just chilling there drinking or whatever. And I'm chilling. We're having a good time. And the majority of people jump in the pool,
Mhm.
right? I'm fresh off a pressing curl. But you understand what I mean?
Right.
And jump in the pool. And they're like,
Yes.
everybody get in, have fun, jump in, Angela. I said, I know, I'm cool. I just had my feet in the water, got my feet in the water, splash. And then, you can splash, but don't,
Right.
splash, right? The cat that brought me there stayed on my head. Why you don't want to get in? He knew exactly why I didn't want to get in.
Right.
Right.
Right?
Mhm.
Jump in the pool, go ahead and get in the pool. And he kept flashing. I said, hit my water, hit my hair.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't say that. I didn't say that verbally,
Mhm.
but I'm saying that, and I saw what he was on
Mhm.
then.
Mhm.
Needless to say, that was my last time.
Mhm.
But he knew
The reason.
Mhm.
the reason, and it come out where you can't be as spontaneous as Marsha, Jan, and Cindy. I can't be as spontaneous, and I'm like, I'm cool. You just got me when we go back and gonna redo this. I'm cool. I can jump
Right,
in,
right.
but this gotta last me all week.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And that type of thing. But in my head, he should have been on my team in that
Right.
respect. He
Right.
got it and he knew it.
Right.
But it was just like, wow. You know what I mean? And what's funny is one of the girls in the group I was real cool with, Latino chick, she got it.
Mhm.
She was like, girl,
That's
I
bananas.
get you. Yeah, you know what I mean? And
'Cause
she
a
was,
lot of them too.
Mhm.
They can relate.
yeah, she's like, she said she got it. She was
Right.
like, why? She said, I said, and he gets it too.
Right.
But why he put me out there like that?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It didn't have to be such a big deal.
Right.
And I know if I sat here and talked to you all have something similar or something like that when you've been in a group. So let me ask you, and this is something that came up, and like I said again, blue affirmative,
Yeah.
white is not. Okay. And this is a touchy subject, but I want to know what you thought about it because I was talking to somebody and this came up. Do you feel that Black trans women are getting more respect than Black women?
Oh wow.
Do you feel like they're getting more acknowledgement than Black women? Blue is a yes, white is a no. Do you feel like
I've
giving? Do you
never.
feel like this came up? I was having a conversation,
Mhm.
and they were like, "It seems that more conversations are coming up to protect the lives of Black trans women. Where is the cry to protect Black women?" And they had nothing against Black trans women.
Right.
They were saying, "We wish we could get that same type of support." I hadn't thought about it. What do you think about that? I had never thought about that until they said that.
I think that they're. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think that they're the cause of the hour. They're
Mm.
the not the problem, but they're the I guess
For the moment,
for
the
the
cause
moment,
for the
they're the
moment.
cause for the moment.
Mhm.
So if anything is negative towards them, anything that's people don't agree with, they got a lot of people rallying behind them for now.
Mhm.
And
For
that's not
now.
fair
I
to
don't-
them
For
either.
me, not speaking from the LGBTQ plus community because I don't belong in it, but just seeing it and hearing their stories, coming from black homes, they're displaced from the black homes. The black Christian mother just came from church saying like y'all going to hell, y'all evil, so y'all get out of my house.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to go outside of the house and into an environment to be
Who
seen
they
and
are.
be to be visible,
Mm-hmm.
to have a voice. And so it's not them necessarily. I'm sure they would love to be in there. A lot of them are homeless. A lot of them get hooked on drugs,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to pretty much form their own spaces to be recognized and have their own families.
I
So
get that.
I can't speak for the LGBTQ. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak for that community because I don't belong there. But just hearing the stories, and I was trying to bring up a statistic as far as how many Black trans women are murdered each year, and it is
It's
it's an
huge.
astronomical amount
I
of
got
women.
you.
And we, of course, like we can't say like, oh well, we all go, Black women especially go through. Our stories are silence as well. A lot of us are missing, and our stories don't get out. Just like the last story, Gabby Petito.
Mm-hmm.
That was a beautiful white young girl,
Mm-hmm.
blonde girl who was murdered, and that was over everywhere.
Yeah.
But our stories,
Right.
they don't reach the same,
Level. They don't.
So
We don't
get
get
the
that.
same attention.
exactly.
Did you want to say something, Lisa?
Well, okay, so when you were speaking about the Black Christian community and their beliefs and thoughts on it, I would imagine as trans people that their experience as Black is makes their trans experience probably even worse. So I would agree with that. But one thing I always wonder is why is always so much focus on Christianity. I don't know any religion that is accepting of homosexuality or
Yeah.
anyone from that
That's
community.
Right.
So I always wonder why they put so much focus, on Christian, and then especially Black Christian Baptists. Like they're the only ones who vilify them, or
That's so true.
yeah. So I'm
That's
always
true.
wondering that. Why is that?
That's a good point because you have a lot of Black churches that accept it. Like there's gay couples in the churches now, so
Right.
it's being more accepted in every facet of walk of life. Church, communities, it's being accepted all around. And I just wanted to touch back on the Black male, the Black female.
Yes.
There are a lot of Black males that love their Black women. I'm married to one. And I said I have 5 sons. I have 4.
I know. I caught that.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, did I
you've
say
been hiding the
5?
other one.
But
Yeah.
I also believe that as a Black mom, mother to her Black sons, it's like we have to push. And that's sad that we have to do that, but it's like we have to point them in a direction to like, when you bring somebody home, she should be Black, And I'm that type of mom. That's just.
Do you feel like, and I have a Black son, and do you feel like when a Black mother says that, she's almost looks at maybe racist or prejudice?
Exactly.
I am.
But when I mean, but I've been hearing for years Jewish women saying, I want my son to marry a nice Jewish girl.
Right.
Or, when what was that? Guess who's coming to dinner when
Right.
another race comes in. But when Black women say it, oh, mom, you're being racist. And let me ask you this. Do you think that's because our men are wanted by everybody? Do you think if he was somebody that nobody wanted, we would be called? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you how do you feel about that? Do you think that has some validity to it, or?
Yes, because I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
But I just think that we are the original people. Let's just start there. No, seriously. And
No, I got you.
our Black men.
You just look like you about to come stab me. That's all. I hear you.
We are the women of the earth. Our Black men are, have always been the most dominant, most just most I'm not gonna say muscular, but strong. All of that. This is dominant period.
Okay, let me ask you. Do you feel like your pride and how you feel about you and your people? Does it displace or disrespect anybody else? Don't you
No.
feel like
No,
when you
not at all.
when you
No.
express your pride and your love and your people, everybody says, but you hate. Black love does not mean
Hate
you
at all.
hate
hate
everybody.
anybody.
I love
Right.
I don't hate
everybody.
anyone.
Right.
I don't even like the word hate, to be really
Right.
honest with you.
Mhm.
But I
We weren't
I
allowed
always
to use
wanted
it.
to know that. You said what?
We weren't allowed to use it.
Yeah, we weren't
Yeah.
allowed to say
Right.
hate.
Yeah.
With the cuss words, my kids, we hate was one of them. Can't say ugly. And
Mhm.
remember the one
And
liar.
lie.
Yeah.
You had to say
Right.
you
No.
telling a
Tell
story.
Right.
You telling a story.
Right.
You couldn't
Or
say
or
lie.
stupid. We
You
couldn't say
couldn't
that.
say
Right.
stupid.
Mhm.
Say that.
Couldn't say those words.
Wow.
So and I thought it was really cool. The last time I was, Reggie Green.
Mhm.
I was at a studio with him and his son,
Mm.
and he was in the room with the other boys, and he had something to say. He said, "Dad, can I use the N word?" I thought that was so cute because he was like, "Dad, can I say that?" And his dad was like, "No." There was a bar to live up to, and
Right.
sometimes I worry that they don't have a bar. And when I saw him do that, I was like,
But I think they don't.
Mhm.
they
They
don't,
don't have a
unfortunately.
bar.
Right.
And Miss Nellie Bell, you put your blue.
Oh, cause I was agreeing with her.
Oh, okay. Stack them up. Stack them up. Oh, okay. So,
Because I can agree with you, Kim, when you were saying as far as you telling your kids that you bring home a black female,
Mhm.
and stuff. I agree with that.
Right. And I
How
was.
it doesn't make me prejudiced because that's what I want my son to do.
Mhm.
Right.
Because whoever he brings home, I'm gonna accept it,
Right.
and stuff. But I prefer him to bring
Build
home
a
a black female.
Exactly. There's
Right.
nothing
And I don't
wrong.
think
There's nothing wrong with seeing a grandbaby that look like you.
Thank you.
What's wrong with that?
Just like me.
Right.
And yeah, not technically, but you know what I mean.
I'm
Right.
No,
I know what you're
Right.
saying.
But what's
And
wrong
I
with
think you
that?
should feel okay. You feel like you should be okay to say that and not
Right.
And not be
And
Be
not be looked at
canceled.
like I'm.
yeah, looked at
Because
like
I
you
will say
criminals.
this: my oldest son. This is my oldest, my oldest son. He is engaged, and she's not black.
okay.
Now she's not white, but she's not black. She's kind of close to us. And I do say this.
Would she check on the application?
Okay.
Yeah. What is that?
She black
Other-
adjacent.
Now, I will say this because we do have Puerto Rican in our family.
Mhm.
So my middle son is on that Puerto Rican thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
He said, "We got an eighth of Puerto Rican. I'm gonna roll that till the wheels fall off."
Okay.
No,
but
I mean,
like
I think we all want, when we think of mothers to son, you want them to treat your son well.
Mhm.
Right.
You want him to love. You want her, him, whoever to love your son, love your
Right.
child. And what you're saying is I think it's okay that if we go back to the 70s, you could freely say, don't, if she can't use my
Right. The
comb,
comb,
don't bring her home.
Right.
That type of thing. And that today is looked at as you're absolutely prejudiced for saying that.
nonsense.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, sometimes I think that comes from like when we look at our experiences as Black women dating, and when you look at the percentages of Black women that never get married, bear children but never get married.
Right.
I think okay, I don't have any children, but my nephews are older and some of them are starting to date. And my question is always, what is she?
Yeah.
I find a way to get around that
Yeah.
because I want to know.
So what she looks
But
like.
it's not from a prejudice perspective. It's from a perspective of I know what that experience is like.
Right.
And if I can have one kid, that's going to ensure that at least one Black girl is going to grow up and be married one day if that's what she wants to a Black man. That's what I would want.
Right.
So it's not prejudice. Obviously, if they end up dating other, I'm cool with that.
Right.
But I always think of that little girl as me. And to me, when I hear that Black women tell their sons this, in my mind, I'm sure not all, but some of them is from that perspective of why we're always the last to be chosen and sometimes not chosen at all.
And that's how it feels, the last to be chosen.
Yeah.
That's how it
Absolutely.
feels.
We
I
good
got you.
enough to practice on, but we're not good
Right.
enough to marry. We're not, especially if they get to a status where they make money.
Exactly. I was just
Now,
saying
when they
that.
get up there, they ain't not even looking at us.
Right.
We can have money too, but we still know y'all ghettos fabulous. I'm looking for Becky.
Right.
Well,
Right.
You know what I mean?
and thinking
And when they
about that.
I'm sorry.
No,
when they,
go ahead.
When they purposely do that, That's what I have a problem with.
Mhm.
Now, if you go out and fall in love with white, blue, green, zebra, orange,
Whatever.
and it happens naturally,
That's a beautiful thing.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
beautiful. That's
I
fine. But
agree.
when you purposely
Mhm.
seek Becky
Mhm.
and then put down for
Your line.
Kwanzaa
Mm-hmm.
or
Exclusion.
whatever, or put down us just to justify you dating Becky, that's what I have a problem with.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You
Okay.
like Becky, date Becky, but don't put me down because you like Becky.
I understand
Mhm.
that. So that bears the question I wanted to ask. I'll give a statement and you guys, again, affirmative and a negative. Do you feel that when black men date outside their race exclusively, and I think that's the part that gets black women exclusively, we're excluded purposely. Do you think that has anything to do with black women? Yes or no?
Can I put both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can
No
you can
answer.
put both
I'll
with
put
an
both.
explanation.
I will.
Okay.
Okay, so sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's their trauma reaction to maybe how they've been treated by their mothers or um, black women or girls growing up. So sometimes it is. It's always about him, but sometimes it's because of his response to the trauma he received, and so that's why I put those.
Okay.
I agree.
Oh yeah, I
Chanel?
agree with that.
I
Yeah.
agree.
That, yeah, it's, on top of that, that would be like the only reason I would say it was because of black women, it's because of how these young black boys were perceived like growing up. Like they're probably the nerds and like the girls like yeah, you know, or
Yeah.
Mhm.
they too.
Square.
Sometimes it's
Mhm.
us kind of project our own insecurities onto other people who look like us.
Mm.
So if I'm
Right.
dark skinned
Mhm.
and I've been told all this time I'm ugly for being dark skinned and you dark skinned too. Oh, you ugly, sir. I'm going for the light skinned boy.
I never
Mhm.
thought about it that
Mhm.
way.
Mhm.
Okay.
Like, so, and
Yeah.
it's all revolving. So they in turn do it to us when they grow up.
I never thought about
Or
it that
I
way.
think a lot of black men too is exactly what both of you guys hit on. But I think a lot of times they don't like what they see in the mirror.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
exactly.
They feel that they're not, what's the word? I don't know, attractive. I don't know. They don't like what they see. So they go after the opposite because
Right.
that'll make them, you know, if they produce, the baby would be pretty, you know, or they just, for some reason, they don't like what they see and that's why they date others.
I
That's
got
what I
that.
believe.
And I do, and I got that. Were you gonna say something, Renee?
Because my son, when he was in high school, he lived in Arkansas with his dad,
Mm-hmm.
and he dated a white girl, but her family was very prejudiced,
Mm-hmm.
and it really scared me for my
Mhm.
son's life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I told him they gonna hang you out there.
Mm-hmm.
You need to leave her alone. You need to find you somebody our color,
Mhm.
black to be
Mm.
messing with. But he told me that the black girls wouldn't talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, what do you do then? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So
It's hard to navigate it all.
right.
And I know, and I very rarely like to bring myself into it, but I had a conversation with my son. My son told me I'm 99% sure my wife gonna be black. I said, well, bless your heart. But what I told him was, I said, I said, you're at the time he was 16, 16, 15, 16. I said, before you make any judgment call or any proclamations like that, I said, I want you to get out into this world and I want you to learn people and learn about what you like and learn about what you feel. I said, I appreciate the percentage. I said, but what you're seeing right now, and I said, because of the demographic that we're living in, I said, we're in the minority. And the demographic that you're sitting in, you see, say for example, you're seeing 10 of those others to a one black girl. I said, in those 10, you're seeing 10 different types, 10 different personalities, 10 different mindsets. In this one sister, you're seeing one, and you're looking at all the sisters because of this one. When you're seeing of our, I said, there's people in that demographic of 10 you wouldn't touch,
Mm-hmm.
but you're getting the perspective of different in it, and you're thinking that most black girls fit into that one you see. And I said, there's a spectrum of everybody, and I want you to get in this life and learn it, and not based on any allegiance to me, but I appreciate it. But you should have allegiance to yourself. And if I said, and I, whoever loves you, and I said this to my daughter too, whoever loves you, whoever loves you. But if I hear in the world that you're out there dismissing who you are
Mm-hmm.
based on what you're choosing, I'm going to have an issue with you. You can take that
Mhm.
however you like. Mom will love you, but mom has an issue with that because when you make decisions, everything is centered around self. And that's why I want to kind of get back to us talking about us. But everything is centered about self, including our decisions. And if you're walking around saying things about the race, you're talking about you.
Right.
And you need to really take that in and see what that looks like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, back to that, what misconceptions do you think people have about our demographic? What
Well,
misconceptions do you think they have about us?
I think a lot of it was done through video games, Grand Theft Auto, music,
No,
the
no,
housewives.
specifically traits that people think we are that we're not.
Beca- Okay, if we would think back to when the Housewives was on, everybody was getting drunk, slapping each other when they're going out to eat. And so a
Mm.
lot of people are looking at, oh, they're scum. They do this, they do that. They fight, they fight, they fight. Call the cops. And then you see a lot of Karens come out. But getting back to the kids, like
I
the
want to
children.
talk about them kids. F
No,
them
I'm
kids.
no, I'm saying.
joking.
No, I'm just making a point that when I talk to my children regarding the whole race thing, like my daughter had made a point. She was like, Mom, there's so much diversity now, which everybody's pretty much mixed now, which
Mhm.
is true. And I said, pretty soon we're all going to be one color, So I did bring up the point. I want you to get with somebody who loves you, no matter what. I want somebody. I'm happy when you're happy, and that's for all of my children. We all think as moms, that's all we want for our children. Somebody who
Absolutely.
love them and take care of them. So, that's how I look at it, and that's how I accept it.
Absolutely. So
But
if I was creating a worldview in a list, if I said I'm going to write these traits down of black women that they perceive us to be, what would be the first thing on the list?
Angry.
Angry.
So they think we're angry.
they think our men, the
Loud.
men don't take care of their children.
Okay, well, we talking about us right now.
Oh, the women.
So
okay.
angry. Number 2 is loud.
Loud.
What's number 3? Welfare.
Ghetto.
Or
Ghetto.
Ghetto. Number 4,
Hoe.
whore.
Mhm.
Whore-ish or hoe like?
No, hoe.
Whore.
Hoe, straight out hoe.
Go straight out hoe.
Whorish,
Like,
whorish tendencies.
hoeing but not charging.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Now, of those things, and I want you to be as very candid. Think about your closest 5 people. Do they fit in that? Do they fit in those traits?
Loud, but not any of the others.
Loud, but not all the time.
Not the other.
Yeah.
No.
Would you say, think about this statement. Are those traits that we just mentioned, the majority of those traits? Or what else do they think? Let's talk about physicality.
The attitude. Oh, wait.
Well, this
Wait,
is funny
or-
because I would say back in the 70s, 80s, when we were in school, they used to always say, oh, those black girls got big butts. They got this and that. But what do they have now? Paying for it.
That's what I was gonna say.
Mhm.
So
Big
junk,
lips.
Mhm.
junk,
Big
Full
lips.
big
mouth,
lips,
full mouth.
Mhm.
skin, bronze your skin, we run the gamut. These
Mhm.
things, thick hair, all these things. Now you tell me out of those things, and I said again, affirmative and a negative, do you feel like on anything but a black woman, those traits are celebrated? If they're not a black woman that are exuding those traits, do you think that they're celebrated on other women?
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
On
I
other
would say
women?
accepted.
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 Accepted, not necessarily celebrated.
Accepted.
I think it's celebrated because it becomes exotic when somebody else does it.
Mm.
Yeah, the description,
Yeah.
adjective always changes based upon the race.
Mhm.
If they're Latina, they're spicy.
Mhm.
Like I would be
Right.
offended
Yeah.
if I
Right.
was a Latina woman and they're calling me that. So,
Right.
Right.
but with us, it's attitude.
Mhm.
Right.
So yeah.
And then I believe that a lot of times black women were talked about if they had big butts or big
Mhm.
lips
Oh, for
and, all,
sure.
Yeah.
and dark skin, but now the others are running out paying for it.
Right.
It's like
Right.
everything that we have, they take.
Right. But
First they talk about us
right. That's
Mhm.
like a dog, then they turn around and they take it. And now everybody, especially black women, they follow the Kardashians
There you go.
as a form of beauty. When all the Kardashians are doing is taken from us.
Hello.
Right.
But a lot of black people don't see that, and I
You-
think a lot of black women follow the Kardashians. Sadly, they do.
Do you think we're lost?
Yeah,
Do you
Very,
think a lot of us
definitely.
as black women are lost?
Definitely.
very. We
I
can
agree.
we trying to compete with everyone. Every woman that's walking this earth, we breaking our necks trying to compete.
Trying to be
Right,
them.
and that's the thing about we trying to compete when it's natural for us.
Hello.
Right.
You know, you think about braids.
Mm-hmm.
We did that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and now they taking that and they calling it theirs.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Cornrows became box braids when
Right.
Hello.
Kim Kardashian admitted
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Tell it.
Like
Right.
really,
You know, yeah.
That's even like with rap. You know how we used to spit on the mic?
But I would say, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I would say that I'm hopeful though because I'm starting to see a lot of us say like my big lips. I'm seeing it. I'm on Instagram.
I hear you, Mo.
My big lips, my dark skin, our melanin. Like we're talking about it a lot and saying like we're seeing it. We're seeing the Kim Kardashian. We're seeing all these white women who are blackfishing. All of a sudden, you was a white girl 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Today,
When it's Sephora, and you look like a whole
yeah,
different
you're
person.
fully bronzed. And
Right.
you're doing okay, and so we're starting to see that. Oh, I got this naturally, man. Like
Right.
all this is me. So I'm very hopeful of this new generation. We've seen our own beauty.
And what I'm hoping from this conversation is communication and saying that this is us, not opposed to not who you are, but this is us on how we're feeling. Because when I think about that quote from Malcolm, I think about how silenced we are. And I think about that freedom. And we're looking at the exhibit that's coming up. Tupac started this week.
Yeah.
And it was called Wake Me When I'm Free. All these people running around thinking we free.
Yeah.
Do you think, and then I kind of posed this question before and I got some interesting answers. If, say, a Malcolm was walking the earth right now, or if, say, even Tupac was still here, I can't believe it's been 25 years. Do you think they would be happy with what they see from us?
No.
No.
A lot of our leaders
No.
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King, none of
None of them.
Do you think, I'm going to ask this question, because I feel like I'm asking a lot of questions, but I would like you guys to tap in. Do you think sometimes we're vibrating on a very low frequency right now?
Absolutely.
Do you feel like that's celebrated more so than being conscious and knowledge of self? Do you think the lower frequency is more celebrated or than self-knowledge and self-worth? Do you feel like a lot of money is being thrown to us operating at our lowest frequency?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I worry about the effect it has as we go on. You understand what I mean? I think, one day that I want to have a talk with the elders because I sit back and I look at what they did. They sacrificed so much. They, we're like, girl, I don't want to lose my job. I ain't going to sit out.
Yeah.
They, it's what's our part in it? What do we have to do? And I think at a point, and you tell me if I'm wrong, where a lot of times we're reaping the benefits and not putting back into the cup that we're taking from.
Yeah.
I agree. I think our generation is failing,
Right.
Black people. When I look at, like, even, I haven't heard it so much recently, but a few years ago, there was this thing where everyone was, a lot of people were saying, I'm not my ancestors. And that was the most disrespectful that I heard. And I was like, thank God y'all not. Because if y'all were our ancestors, we wouldn't be where we are now.
We'd still be on the plantation.
Y'all can't hold on to a cause. Y'all can't even not watch football for a whole season.
Exactly.
Kaepernick. So to me, I think we're definitely reaping the benefits of our previous generation, but we're not laying we're not putting in our layer of that foundation for the next generation. We're
I'm
too
trying
busy.
to make my ancestors proud.
Yeah, we're too busy competing with them. Like I think we've talked about this before. I remember growing up and seeing Cheryl Lee Ralph, and I was like, oh,
she's gorgeous.
And Magic dated her. Ooh, that's what I want to
be. That's some pretty kids. You like,
you see Diane Carroll and Lena Horne, and you see these Black women that were just regal and that it made you have something to look up to and aspire to be. And we're not providing that for our younger brown
We
kids
talked about
at
this
all. We're too
before.
busy competing with them.
Yeah.
We're
Or
too
trying
busy
to be like
still
them,
going
like
to the
them.
club with them, or I mean, and
Right.
if you still going to the club, that's your thing, whatever. But why you partying with your kids and their friends?
Absolutely. If you and your daughter wearing the same outfit, I'm not looking at your daughter. I'm looking at you.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Something needs to
Something is
happen.
wrong.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
it's that thing, and we talk what you just talk about. We call that the "Where's Claire" syndrome. Where
Wow.
Claire? Somebody
Where
got to
at?
say
Right.
something. Where
Mhm.
Claire at?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
To okay, we got to shut this down. We have to evaluate and see what's happening here. Make the best decisions, and nobody is doing that. And for so long, it was up to us. Question on that part: do you feel like a lot of where we are and what we have has been on the backs of black women? Meaning, when you have these children with this discipline, and you have a race of people that kept going even when we were separated. When our men were separated from us, we didn't fall down like the mood, like, Friday the 13th, and the girl running and she fall and save yourselves and all that other stuff. But when I think about that and think about this clearly, because I want to see what you guys think about it. And God bless our mothers for raising us. But did our mothers teach us how to survive without a partner, as opposed to teaching us how to community with
Yeah.
a partner? They taught us more how to survive just in case that cat's not there.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
maybe
Right.
They
it-
had to.
That's
Had
they
true.
had to.
And when you look back, I'm sorry.
You're okay.
When you look back at it, that's what I was going to say. It's something that when you look at our history in this country, that didn't just start in the 70s. It didn't just
Right.
start. That's something from slavery time,
Right.
where
Mhm.
they continue to separate us as families. And that's how, and black women were always expected to take it
Mhm.
and to swallow it and to keep pushing forward. And just like you passed down grandmama's sweet potato pie recipe, you
There
passed
you
that
go.
shit down to
Yeah.
you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I went to an African American before it was right before the pandemic, for LA County mental health project. It was amazing. It was amazing. I left out of there feeling, I promise you, at the end they had a choir. I've never been to a convention where they had a choir at the end. And they were like, we're calling our ancestors back to kind of help you, to kind of, put the mental pieces together. Seek help. Get what you get. This is just to uplift you. I thought that was amazing that they did that. But what I found out in this, at that convention or conference rather, was that trauma goes 6 generations, literally. And they were just like, they compared it to, I think this Thursday is going to be International Holocaust Remembrance Day. And they compared it to having a day of remembrance for something tragic that happened to a specific people. And they said that was a 20-year ordeal as opposed to a 400+ year ordeal. And they said, imagine the trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma that continued to happen without having any point of release for healing, any point of release. And then we're at the place where we don't seek a mental health. So a lot of the times when we talk about, and just circling back, and you guys tell me if you think, and I feel like I'm giving my opinions more so than, any, but tell me, do you think that ties in with, I want my son to marry this woman so they can have pretty kids? Think about the self ratchetness, the self loathing in a sense. But you can look at it another way too, because somebody brought this up to me. You tell me what you think about this. Is that a guy said I was ridiculed. They used to call me Blackie. They used to call me all this stuff, and I was ridiculed, and I don't want my son to have to go through that. So he's trying to break the line so his son is lighter and he does not have to deal with the trauma he dealt with.
I think that happens frequently, but I would challenge them to look at what they're thinking the solution to the problem is. That's not that's like trying to, not even a
Don't
band-aid. I
run
don't know
from
what
it.
that
Don't
is.
run from it. Like
You know,
how you gonna deal with it?
I think
Don't
the
run from it.
the way the solution is to teach your kids to not treat people that way and not look at people that way. I was called those things too.
Me too.
Right.
And it
And-
made you stronger, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it didn't make me run from black men.
Right.
Mhm.
But so I,
But it gave you a strength, because if it hadn't given you that
And then
strength,
break you down and build you up.
right, it
Mhm.
builds you up.
yeah,
It made you who you are today. Actually, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And
absolutely.
think-
but
think
I
of it-
understand also that everybody internalizes things differently. So it's
Differently,
like I
right.
get that,
That's
Mhm.
but to me, that person needs to heal, because the solution that he came up with is not
That-
a fix.
Right.
And
Right.
It's not.
and we brought a lot of trauma, like they said, generation from slavery.
Right.
Everything we do now stems from slavery. We calling other people black blackie, or you
Right.
too black, or you
Right.
this,
Right.
or light skin is better, and this and that. They did a number on us.
Right.
Oh, we're messed
And
up.
when they did a number on us, we just kept going and going and
And
going
continue
and
the-
continue the trauma.
We
Right.
tried to fix it. Like the whole '60s movement, Black is beautiful. We wear our hair natural.
Mhm.
So somewhere along the way, we stumbled. It might have been because our leaders were murdered. So
Well, you know what? I could say that,
Yeah.
but you know what? And we talked about this before.
Right.
We stumbled. The 70s, it was like they got us in the door.
Mhm.
And so much was at our disposal. And it worked until that 80s kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
When the 80s kicked in, and you mentioned it was financial. It's kind of like it's like no, mine. Remember Bugs Bunny?
Mhm.
No, mine. And I'm not going to sacrifice what I've been able to obtain
Right.
for a cause.
Right.
Right.
Then the 90s came back in, and we picked that thing up and started running with it. That's why teen pregnancies went down. That's why college enrollment went up. You remember Different World and
Different
stuff
World.
like that? We came back with that. When you go back to the 90s, we had African medallions on. We were trying to get back in touch with who we were. And then again, money came into play. We came across something called no color lines. Does everybody remember that?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, remember in LA we had no color lines every day. It was like preach no color lines, but that's a dangerous statement in my opinion. Because what happens is you don't celebrate the diversity of everybody. It's not
There
no
you
color
go.
lines, it's respecting what everybody
Right.
is.
Exactly.
And when you say no color lines, it's kind of the same thing where you said the guy he was given a challenge and he didn't rise up to the challenge. That's a challenge of teaching your son, yeah, it's gonna be hard. They're gonna hit you with rocks,
Right.
but you're beautiful.
Right.
As opposed to say, well, I want to take that, and I get it. I don't want him to experience that trauma, but that was a challenge that I wish you would have went the other way with. And when you say, don't look at everybody's uniqueness, don't look at everybody's culture and erase that, and everybody be the same thing. That's an issue.
Absolutely.
And especially an issue for us because we don't know us.
Right.
Right.
And that's why we find where we are today. So, as us, why do you feel like it's so difficult to connect with each other as women?
I'm sorry, competition.
Explain that. What do you mean?
We're always competing. I don't know, for some reason, like say if you in a workplace, majority of the employees are white. Let's say you're the only black one there. Soon as they hire another black woman, we like, oh, she gonna take my position. She gonna like, we start stressing and start worrying instead of helping each other. Or it's a lot of, for some reason, sabotage going on. Why that happens, I don't know. I think that's women across the board, black, white, Asian.
I do too.
That happens
I do
with-
too.
agree.
We just got
Women-
that cattiness, and
It's just women.
it's just women. Period. I don't
Why
think
aren't we kinder to each other as women? Why aren't we kind to each other
Why
as women?
aren't we?
Why aren't we? We're not kind to. Let me tell you, a man can sleep with your best friend, take your car for 12 weeks, bring it back on E, steal your dog, and you say, you know what, we was broken up at the time. Let me mess around and come in and wear the same lipstick color you missing. Yes, oh, that bitch tripping. I ain't talking to her. And won't talk to me for the next 5 years until I get her to break her sign. Well, girl, I was mad at you because you went to the Mac counter and you knew I was going, but you won't talk to me for 5 years behind that. You understand what I'm saying? We aren't kind to each other. And here's the part that irritates me is it's our nature to nurture each other. It's our nature to do it. It is in your nature. How often have you been somewhere and you might be at a doctor's office and you're sitting there and you end up telling this woman, yeah, I'm here for my third mammogram. She's like, you know what? And you put, just, I'll pray for you. And you start talking and you find yourself talking to this woman in a way and she's encouraging you. That's what we do. As opposed to look, oh yeah, you mess with my man, huh? Watch. Talk to your man probably.
Hello.
Right.
You understand? Because she probably didn't
Even
know.
know. Right.
Why do you think we're so hard on each other?
Honestly, I think that
and that's women, not even just black
just
women, women period.
Women period across the board, women.
For sure.
I think that's a I'm not gonna say I was gonna say a skill. I think I think that's a I can't think of the word I'm trying to look for, but I think that's a something that we pick up actually in I'll say elementary school, middle school.
Okay.
Because when you're in elementary, I know for me, I went to Bixby, and it wasn't a lot of us over there, so it was like every race, but we all got along. But we were that crew, you know what I mean? Like, so we were that crew, and we're like, ill to the other girls or whatever. They were saying ill to us, So I think that's something that you pick up in elementary. You find out, these are my friends over here, so we don't like them over there. And then when you get to middle school, it's like, the mean girl mentality. So
Okay.
I believe that's something that's actually taught, not necessarily in school books, but it's something that's taught in schools.
Okay. Have you guys ever been like a victim of a mean girl?
I was the mean girl.
That's that
Look at you.
I told you I like when she
I
came
didn't want to
in.
be, but they recruited me, so I was like, oh, okay.
Chanel said I didn't like when she came in. Her eyes were just too close together, girl. I mean, that it I don't know if it's anybody, because obvious I grew up in the middle of three girls. My mother like, y'all might not like each other today, y'all gonna like each other before y'all leave this room. You understand what I mean? And
Right.
I've always treated other women in that way. Now I would have to say, and like you said, we process things differently. And I went through something traumatic when I was a senior, and I wasn't kind. I internalized it. And here's what's funny: 20 years later, and I'm saying my age and whatever, but I ran across a friend. Facebook comes back and you start talking to a friend, and then a girl came on and she requested me, and I was like, I remember her. We got a lot of mutual friends. Went to the same school. I can remember Liz, that's one friend. And she goes, hi. She said, I didn't know, she emailed, I didn't know you were going to accept my request. And she was like, because, you used to be so mean to me. And that's what she remembered about me.
Wow.
That broke my heart. That broke my heart. And I'm not putting extras on it or anything like that. Her memory of me was me being mean to her. And I was like, man, I apologized profusely. I was just like, that's when my parents separated and everything changed. And I was walking around mad at the world. And I was just in. But her memory of me was that I was mean to her. Wow. And we're really cool right now. But I thought about, and that led me to approach people differently. So think about this. Do you guys feel like when you're in a room with your demographic, it's harder to connect with her, or is it easier?
Harder. A lot of the time.
Why do you say that?
I don't know, because I'm very outgoing. I'm, oh, hi, this and that. And I think sometimes, that's just not the mood of the room, I guess. I came in all chipper and I'll sit down because I love, just meeting people, period. Talking with everybody, meeting new people. And I get that a lot. So, at first I let it, change the way I approach people. And I was like, to hell with it. I'm still going to be me.
For sure.
And I just want to say this. So I went to this, it was a group of Black women. I had got an invite. And so we
That's
all.
that thing you didn't invite me to that I was
I got
cussing
an
you out
invite.
last week.
I got an invite.
Go ahead.
I got an invite, so I went because another one of my friends had actually invited me, but it was a lot of women there. And to me, it was just so funny because, we're all getting along so great. I was meeting people. Oh, they were talking about the high schools we went to, just everything in general. And one lady, it was her and her sister. And, we really got along. And I was like, oh, they are really cool. And so the sister's birthday was the exact next day. So that was on a Saturday. Her birthday party was on a Sunday. And so she had invited me, but, I just met you. And plus, I had prior engagement, to go to. will you believe that she stopped talking to me? She got an attitude with me because I couldn't make it. I just met you. You know what I'm saying? So I was
Mm.
just like, and I just laughed it off, like, whatever. But to me, that just blew my mind. Like, who does that? You know what I'm
Right.
Right.
saying? Like,
Right. Right.
so,
Right.
and I do understand that some women are petty, some women are childish. Everybody's not on
Why
that
do
same
you
level of
think that
thinking.
is?
Something that they dealing with
That's
within.
right.
Right, right.
It's their self-esteem. It's their way they feel about themselves.
Right.
It's maybe something that was done to them, and they want to, they can't shake it. Um, I don't know why people just automatically do that. I'm the type that I will go in the room and I'll sit in the cut. I don't have to be seen. I don't have to be. I just go, corner, sit in the cut. Just look over people, see what's what. But I had incidents where it was turned back on me, like I was wrong, like I was um oh, we're not gonna talk to her. Or all of a sudden we cool, then all of a sudden somebody just stopped talking to me for no reason. So to be honest, it's kind of hard for me to trust women.
Yeah.
Generally speaking,
Yeah, just
okay.
generally speaking, it's just hard because I can see if I slept with your man. I can see if I stole from you.
Right.
I could see if I spread lies about you, but I ain't done none of that. And then all of a sudden, I'm this, I'm that, and all of a sudden, oh, fuck Vanessa, and then they just stop talking to me. I
They
don't get
haven't
it.
communicated
And
anything
haven't
with
said
you of
anything
what you
to me. And then,
did.
years go by, then all of a sudden, hey, girl. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Uh-huh.
I don't,
Hey, girl.
yeah.
I missed that Ozzy Brothers concert because you wasn't talking to me 2
Right,
years ago, but now
exactly.
you just, hey, girl.
Yeah,
I
so,
got you.
but then I had the other end too, where I walk in a room, see another black woman, and we just jive. So, which just don't happen a lot, but we get together and we just jive. Like when I met Tina, me and Tina clicked just like that, and that don't happen a lot. And when women, like I said, when women see other women, they got this competition rises.
Now, why do you think when you were talking about that earlier, I saw Lisa was saying something when you brought up competition in a global, more of a global view, because we kind of talked about it before with women in competition. Did you want to expound on that anymore?
I just think it all ends up going somehow or another, finding its way back to that. When you have all these things of why women treat women this way and why women treat other women that way, I think it all ends up pointing back. That's the nucleus. That's the hub of where all the issues, I think, come from.
So you think we're pitted against each other?
We're pitted against each other for sure. Especially like if you go to be specific as far as black women, when I go back to what I said earlier about how many of us never end up even getting married. And I know some wonderful black women, and none of them are in relationships. Why is that? It's not because they're not beautiful. It's not because they're not accomplished. It's not because they're not great human beings.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. I ask this question all the time because when you were asking about when the stereotypes that they have of black women that aren't necessarily true. When you were asking, is it celebrated in others? I think it's accepted in others because you can't tell me it's because attitude, because I see you with this one and she whooping your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can't say it's because of this issue because these ones have it and they stay with one. So what is the real reason? I don't know, but I think I think it somehow as we get older, especially as our life experiences happen, there's 20 of us and 3 black men over there that want to date black women. So then we're fighting
each
and
other to get
competing.
his attention.
Yes. And so I think it all ends up boiling to that. And so when you go into the workplace for a long time, especially depending on the type of work it was, there may have been just the 1 or 2 positions for black people in general, or black women. So when the other black woman joins the team, I think that was you that gave that scenario earlier. Now you afraid because this your spot,
Right?
So now you don't even want to try to befriend her because you're afraid that somehow it's gonna get a little crack in there, that she's gonna get her foot in and just gonna boot you out.
Gotcha.
Like there's not room for both of us.
Right.
So I think that's why, and it's not true. I work in engineering, and there's not a lot of us, but just happened recently. There's now three. I used to be the only black woman for years. Now there's 3 of us. on one team,
That's dope.
and we all cool with each other.
That's dope.
That's
That's the
Wow.
better
Yeah.
part.
That is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Because even I think for the last 10 years, the
Mhm.
statistic has been the highest educated person in the United States as a whole are black women,
Mhm.
are higher educated than anybody.
Mhm.
Anybody. You understand what I mean? With that, do you think, and now I want to look at the possibilities, do you think that that has anything to do with relationshiping? Do you think that has anything to do with how we present ourselves to the world? Do you understand what I mean?
I think I understand what you're saying. Like, basically, have we become to where we're like emasculating men? Is that what you're kind of asking?
Or
Uh,
are you saying that we're acting like we bigger than
Then
now?
right,
because-
that's what you're saying.
do you
because
think that's
we-
the case?
No.
No.
Are you saying
I wasn't saying any of that, but I mean I'm taking in what y'all saying.
so? Do you mean like due to the lack of relationships, we focus more on the career part?
Well,
That's a good one.
meaning like looking at self, meaning sometimes you don't look at it as something you accomplish. You look at it as your whole game. Like my whole
Mhm.
game is I'm an educated woman. What you bringing?
Right.
Is
No.
that your whole game? Do you do? But
As
do
an
you come
educated
up?
woman, no.
I know. I mean,
it's one. Yeah. Is something I accomplished? Yeah. Is it something that I'm proud of? Yeah. Do I walk in the door holding up my degree? No, I
No,
don't.
exactly.
You wouldn't know unless you asked me and I told you.
Right.
Right.
I
And I
don't come in the
understand that.
door shouting it.
Okay,
Right.
but I want to ask you an honest question.
Okay.
Do you think, and we know people, we're in a circle, and like I said, because black women are more educated than anybody else, a lot of the circles we roll in, we come across educated women.
Mm-hmm.
Your way of being and our way of being, you wouldn't know what kind of, you wouldn't know if I graduated high school unless you were there. I don't say, I have this and I have that.
Mhm.
But looking at us as a whole, is there a lot of us that walk in the door as that? This is my game. This is what I am.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
You
it
think-
is.
you think
Absolutely.
The
It is a
majority
lot
of
of,
us are that way.
I didn't say a majority. I said a lot. Is there a lot of sisters that do that?
They do, and they have standards that's like way, just way high. You know what I'm saying? And then there's not enough men on our level, so they're single. So that's something.
So I want to let me create this scenario, and I want you to look at it in this respect. Okay, so I'm at a dinner with a man, first time, and we're talking and we getting to know each other. And he asked me about myself, and everything that I say ties into what kind of degree I got and how smart I am and what I'm doing, as opposed to who I am and what I like to do, and letting him get to know me. I continue to lead with that. I continue to present that as who I am, not something I've accomplished. Do you see instances of that? Like, for example, if you're talking to a woman and it comes up that, and I was the first black woman to do this, and I got this degree and this and this and this. Now, mind you, I think you should be able to be proud of that.
Yeah,
And I think you should be able to wave your flag. But in every instance, like, I mean, do you like Oreos or Chips Ahoy?
Right.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out who you are,
Right.
as opposed to something that you've accomplished. I think it's an amazing accomplishment, but why is that your game? Why is that your whole game?
I think that the women that do that are women. The man hasn't met her standard.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
That he's not at her level, so she's in a sense telling him, "I'm up here, and you're down here to me."
Okay, so that woman, how challenging do you think it'll be for her to find someone to relationship with?
Very hard.
It would be very
Very
hard
hard.
for her.
Very
Yes,
challenging.
very.
Okay, what
Mhm.
advice would you give her?
I think more so I would tell her that she needs to listen to what the person is saying to her.
Okay.
The question that's asked to you. He didn't ask you nothing about your degree.
Mm.
But every time you fall into that same thing. Why did you do that? Are you letting him know at that time that you're above him? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Why are you talking about you got 5 degrees? Well, that's not even what he asked.
That's hard to match. You
That is
understand
hard
that?
to
That's
match.
hard
It
to match.
is.
If you're looking for somebody to match that, that's a hard
That's
thing
very
to
hard
match.
match. Right.
But it could be like Renee's saying, she could be weeding him out,
Right.
letting
Yeah.
him know that okay, all we gonna do right here is talk.
Right.
We're not gonna go to level B, C,
Right.
and D because I got this and you here. But then some women feel like they gotta toot their own horn all the time
Right.
too.
Right.
They gotta make sure they put that out in the forefront. Oh, well, I got this, and
Now what
all
you
that
do?
is fine, right? All of that is fine, but you also what's
Who
the
are
word?
you? It's like, who are
Right.
you? You accomplished
You're
all
not
these things, but
saying
who are you?
you're not saying who you are, and
Right.
you're also weeding out potential.
Right.
Riffraff.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Potential
or
riffraff.
or a potential mate.
Right.
Potential
You
mate.
know, this dude over here, he could be down home, do whatever. He go to work at the sanitation, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He could be the man for you, but you coming at him with, well, I got this, that. He gone. He ain't trying to hear that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So sometimes either women are coming with the degrees to scare this dude away. Let me let him know now it ain't going nowhere, or they feel like they have to do that because they have to toot their own horn.
Right. Just
Which
pay
is
for my lunch.
Which is
Mhm.
unfortunate
Pretty much.
because sometimes having a degree in this economy, it means nothing.
Man.
There's a lot of people
Exactly.
with master's
Right.
degrees who are working for Pizza Hut.
Man.
So I'm not understanding
Put
if,
in my
if
application
those women
last
exist.
week.
That part.
I'm getting free pizza.
Oh, yeah, you know, I'm gonna hit you up. See
if that's
Pedro. Pedro gonna be cool. Hey, I'll
got
hook you
you.
up.
Mhm.
If that's the case, I'm hoping that there are women who are not doing that because they have to know themselves that the degrees, having a degree, of course, it's a good
It's a
thing.
good
But
accomplishment.
actually, it is women
like
that
you
do
said.
do that.
Yeah, it's sad, but
And
it
That's
is.
why
It's
when
women
you
that do
said
that.
if,
Right.
that's why I was like, because I personally don't know anyone who behaves that way. So
Right.
for me, this is shocking. So I'm
Right,
just kind of looking
exactly.
at y'all
you
like,
do?
I
do.
actually know a
Uh-huh.
person that does that.
I do. I know
I do
several.
too.
Yeah.
I know
I do
too.
too.
and so
Mhm.
to me, this is shocking.
Right.
I don't know anyone that does that.
No.
But when I
Matter-
think about the behavior,
She do it when I talk to her,
Yeah.
and I already know.
Yeah,
I know what you
I
got,
know
boo.
what
when
you're
I
talking
think
about.
about
Right.
the
Yeah.
behavior, it sounds to me like it's more of someone who doesn't have the self confidence who's
Yeah.
trying to mask it, and maybe that's why they're throwing it up because they're
Mhm.
trying to appear confident and they're not.
Mhm.
Right.
Not that they're trying to throw it in anybody's face, or you get what I mean.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So okay,
Well, I
this
know
is shocking.
a group of women. They graduated and they pledged. I'm not gonna say whatever, but they pledged sorority, and it's like they have to have a mate that pledged, and that's a certain job and this and that. So I mean, they do match. So some people do match up like that, and it's so sad because you can end up with somebody who's not even for you at all. Period. And you know what I mean? So it's just.
I think it's a difficult road to go. Everybody's trying to be their best selves. Everybody is trying to find their place in the world, and it's hard to go out on these job interviews we call dates and be yourself and be vulnerable and be open to how that person is going to react to who that is. Tearing away all the things that you bring.
Right.
Have you often ever found yourself downplaying something you have to make another person feel more comfortable in your presence? Even on a lower scale. Why do you say that?
Because I think about myself. I'll use myself. Matter of fact, I didn't say my job because like I'm an internal auditor. I didn't mention that because some people think that an internal auditor, oh gosh, you got a big job. It's not. It's not.
Look, let me borrow $5.
So I don't say that sometimes.
You don't want to scare people off of knowing you.
Right.
To just kind of taking you in. Because some people, when you hear things, they might, shut down.
Yes. And that's what happens.
I got you.
And stuff. And then, you're talking about the dating thing. You going out and you meeting somebody. That is so hard. Now, I don't know who's all single here. I mean, you may have a friend or whatever, but
letting these hoes know.
But the thing about that is, most of the time, I just went through a session actually, and the question they asked was, "What would you like in your date?" for to have a nice conversation.
Mm.
He and I.
Conversation.
Yes.
That's
Ooh.
You know.
Yes.
And sex not in it.
You said,
Mhm.
oh, and the
And
sex
what?
not
And
being in
sex is not
conversation.
in the
Not the
conversation.
topic.
Right.
Oh,
I
okay.
got
It's
you.
like,
Okay.
wait,
I
what?
got you. That's
Wow.
not
You
too
know?
much to ask.
Right.
Mhm.
I got
Do you find that has it been easier or less easy for you as you gotten older to be vulnerable
That's
on
a
a
good
date or
question.
to someone that you were just meeting in that capacity?
I think I can be vulnerable if we're not talking about sex.
Okay.
Mm.
You see
Yeah.
that, and nothing against sex. I mean, I love it. Hey, you know,
Right.
Mhm.
I want it. You
Right.
know,
Mhm.
but the thing about it is that why does that always have to be
Mhm.
part of the conversation?
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
you eventually you're gonna get there, yes.
Right.
But
Mhm.
why does that always have to be the first thing in the conversation?
Yeah.
You
Trying
know?
to get to know each other.
Mhm.
Right.
That's not even
Absolutely.
in the equation yet.
I don't
Girl.
even
How
know
is it
you.
as a young
Right.
girl out here?
I can't speak for it because I'm a whole different breed actually. I don't.
Oh, just finger
I'm not.
snaps.
No, that's not
Okay,
even. That's
listen.
not to say
Yes.
like, oh, I'm up
No,
here.
bars.
It's
Okay.
not to say I'm up here. It's just like the way I move is kind of different. Like I don't really go
See,
out
that's why
and
we
meet
blood.
people. Yeah, yeah.
No. I want you to elaborate on that.
Okay. Well, I've never had a boyfriend ever in my life.
Well,
I've
you
kind
have
of.
y'all haven't seen her brothers.
Yeah, well,
Right.
Y'all
that's-
better come correct.
Mhm. She
One
got
of them was
4
born with a
brothers.
ball. When he was born, he came out fist first. So
Right.
that's kind of, but I get it.
That's absolutely part of the reason as to why. The reason as to why, because I stay to myself a lot. I'm not very introverted. I don't go out and meet people.
Mm-hmm.
And the times that I have been unfortunate, basically. And I've never had sex, so that conversation comes up a lot. And when it does come up, I'm like, yeah, that's a red flag because like get to know
Okay.
me.
And hold on one
Right.
second.
Like
Can
green.
we take a toast
Yes.
to that? Because I
I get
think
some
that's
water.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
I
listen.
think that's beautiful, and I think you should be celebrated
Look,
for
girl,
that.
listen, don't let me spill
And
it.
one,
Okay.
but
Let me
one
pass it to
reason,
you before I spill it.
one reason I
Listen.
think you should be celebrated
Help
for
it.
that. Firstly,
Absolutely.
because
Definitely.
so much is
Thank
being
you.
pushed
That's
in your
enough?
face to
Yeah.
be the
Oh.
opposite of that.
Exactly.
And
Anybody
second
else?
reason I feel like I love you for saying that is because you said it freely. You didn't say, "Oh, I'm sheltered. I don't do this. These are my actions. This is what I've chosen to do, and I'm on I'm a different speed right now out here. You people, say, I ain't like these. No, you're on a different planet, and that's dope. No, do you understand me?
A rare breed.
And it's
Right.
it's beautiful. Now,
It is. It's.
I mean,
Oh wow.
I had 4 kids by the time I was 15, but I'm saying that's jokes. That's jokes. But even saying that, I wouldn't have any less respect for that woman. It's
Right,
hard out
absolutely,
here.
100%.
But what I'm saying is when you can own who you are and step in it, it is
Mhm.
beautiful
That's beautiful.
because
It is.
being your authentic self, and you have a society right now that if I told you that sky is off blue and everybody else hashtagging that as blue, and I come out and say it's kind of off blue, they can get me fired.
Mhm.
You understand me? We're in a world where everybody wants you
Has
to
to
think the
agree,
same, be
absolutely.
the same, and for
Right.
you to just say, you know what, this is who I am. I'm proud of that. I'm
Mhm.
walking in it.
Mhm.
I think you're beautiful for even just.
Being you.
I don't think we have a clear handle and a clear just comment on the beauty in people. I find a beauty in ordinary. That's why I don't like a lot of I'm not a Star Wars girl. I'm like, why so loud? Turn it down. I like dialogue. I like this. And I would have never known that if I didn't say, let's sit down and have a conversation with each other. I learn about you. I'm learning about your son. I'm learning about you. When you in session and you talking to people and they say, what you want on the day? We got to talk about what you're doing because I don't know what you're doing. And
Okay,
just,
listen, who
and
was
talking
asking?
about you guys, remember, at a point after you get over the age of 35 as a woman, and you guys tell me this if you're right or wrong, if I'm right or wrong, do you ever feel invisible?
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
You don't ever feel invisible as a woman.
I have.
Thank you.
I have. Yeah.
Well, I think
And complimenting you. I wish that my virginity hadn't been taken from me.
Yeah.
That I could be where you were now, you know, at your age. I wish I could have said that.
Yeah.
You know,
Amen.
and said, you know, I ain't have a sex.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's just it. That's all. You know, I mean, just and that was beautiful. You know,
Yeah.
and stuff. So,
There was an almost because I'm getting to that age. It's really recent. I was fed an idea of a relationship with someone. I thought it was going to go far. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give all my trust to this person and my butt to this person. So I kind of, I'm like probably saying too much, but I floated around the idea of actually losing that to that person. But I'm glad, thank God, that
Listen to
Lord
that.
stepped
Listen
in.
to that God that was talking to you.
Yeah.
And
So
it was
hold on.
it was basically that person that didn't allow it to happen, and thankfully that person did not, because I
and
would
if
have
he ain't got
regretted
a
it.
ring on it, though. Look, I'm sorry.
I
I am
mean,
so sorry.
what I would
And
say,
that
what I
wasn't
would say to
right.
you is what I would say to Alex. I would say to my daughter, you do what feels right to you, but if you ever have a second thought, go on that
Go
second
on that
thought.
second
When you
thought.
don't know, don't do.
Yeah,
If
and
you're not certain about something,
right.
don't do
and
it.
don't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, and I've told my goddaughter that. She's in college right now, and I told her, you know, it's gonna get hard. It will, you know, and things look great, but everything that looks great is not great for you.
Right.
Okay.
That's like my daughter Amber. She's kinda
She's
on her
sweet.
own
She's a
thing
sweetheart
too.
too.
Like she has cousins, or I'll say friends,
Mm-hmm.
who are into what's going on now. But Amber's totally different.
Right.
She praises God, and she has a
Yeah.
website. She does the Christian clothing and all that. But
Yeah, I saw that.
she's the same. She's like on her in her own lane too, and I'm very
I
proud
think
of that.
those girls should be celebrated. I
They
really do,
should.
because they're being overshadowed by, like I said, this lower vibration that we're
Right.
on lately. But I want to ask this question, and then after we ask this question, we're going to take a break. Fernando, we're going to take a break after this question, after we answer this. But I asked men this, and I'm going to ask you guys too. And I know a few of you aren't mothers, but you will mother. Does how you are mothered affect how you mother,
Yes.
or how you will
Absolutely.
mother?
Yes.
How you will
Absolutely.
be as a mother. Tell me
Yes.
how you were mothered affects how you mother now.
I do a lot of things opposite from my mom.
Mm.
I do a lot of things opposite. I'm more like I was like she was. Don't hug me, don't kiss me. What are you doing? I was before I had my family,
Oh,
but now
wow.
I kiss them all the time. I tell them I love them all the time. So it's a
Mm.
constant in my house. So yeah, I do a lot of things opposite.
Okay.
And I do a lot of things like my mom. My mom taught us to hug, and that we were all we had was each
That's
other.
important.
You know, and it bothers me today when I hear people say, "I'm sorry that I'm not going to raise my child like my mother raised me." But where are you today? You have accomplished something, and because of your mother and father, or whoever, that person that was in your life. So how can you say that you're not going to raise your child? Because even though that one incident or whatever, you have something.
No, I definitely
Yes,
do. I do.
that you do just like your mom.
Do you think it's good to have the discernment to take the things from it that you think will enrich your kids, and maybe some things that you don't feel like would be enriching to their lives, to kind of leave them out?
Yes.
Okay.
That's with everything.
That's
Yes,
kinda
that's
how-
anything.
Yeah.
And my mother told me that when she talked to me. She said, everything I say is not going to be right. But you take out of it what's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Not what's good for me or what I said, but what's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's how I was taught, and stuff. It's just like what you said something about your mom. You guys were saying something about your mother.
Oh, like words we couldn't
Right,
say.
Oh,
like
yeah,
the words you couldn't
say.
use, and stuff. The words you couldn't use. Just an small example of that. You take the same thing and you tell your kids the same thing.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't say lie. No, you better say tell a story.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
So it's just things that you still took from your parents,
Okay.
and you use those with your kids, no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, not everything that they said that yes you use, but it's still
Certain
things.
things, yeah.
Yes, it's
Mhm.
still things you took from your
Mhm.
parents and you use.
Yeah.
You know.
Anybody else how their
I'm
mother
sorry.
mothered them? Does it affect or will it affect how you mother or how you auntie?
Auntie, but I look at it more so of what
The
I
dopest
receive.
auntie.
Mhm.
I look at it more of what did I didn't have aunties like that growing up.
Mm.
So I knew some of my aunties, and not all of them, but I knew some of them growing up. But what I am with my niece and nephews, I didn't have that. So I look at it more from that perspective of what would I have wanted when I was a kid. And so that's how I auntie,
Right.
based off of what I didn't get that I would have wanted.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What about you?
Well, this is like what Renee said. Mama always told us, "You all you got.
Mhm.
Your two sisters and your brother. That's all you have. So
Mhm.
no matter what other people say or do in this world, you lean back and forth on them." And I think that came from Mama because Mama didn't have that coming up.
Mhm.
So she made sure that we
Right.
had it.
Mhm.
And I do that for my niece, my nephews, my son. And sometimes it depends on the child you have too. You might have to mother a little different.
Absolutely. It's a
Like,
good point.
my son, has special needs. He has autism. So I had to go a different route, but I still see myself doing the same thing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So you definitely parent the way you were parent. So yeah, it's a big influence. Yeah.
Well, I have to say with you, you are an amazing parent. I learned that's where I learned
you.
how to
Yes.
parent from through my
Mhm.
mother and definitely through
Thank you.
you. She is an amazing, amazing mother. I can't
Thank
say
you.
that enough. And call me biased, but
Yeah,
once
I've seen her
once
too, so I
yeah,
know
she
what you.
really
Yeah.
is. I mean, and everybody alive. She ain't killed nobody.
Mhm.
I don't see no black eyes. On occasion, you understand me. But once you get the job, or once you see the job, you see it in action. I don't know how close you are with your mother. You see it in action, and you see the trials. You never mothering.
The
Woo,
hardest
it's
job on
hard.
earth.
It's
It
the
is.
hardest job
Mhm.
in the world. You
Mhm.
understand
Never
what I mean?
ends.
It
Mhm.
never
Never
ends.
ends.
I was just
Mhm.
talking to someone today, and they were like, when you have a child, once they're 18, you first you give your life for them, and then once they leave your lap, they enter your heart.
Mhm.
And my mother always tells us when she get off the phone, and she's like, she said, I put the blood of Jesus on you guys every time I think of when you walk out. And she one of them ones, call me when you get home. If you don't call, hell gonna break loose.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And you don't really get how important that is
Mhm.
with this world right now, you all.
Yeah.
It's something.
It is.
And just walking in these shoes of somebody looking at you and looking for the answers from you and how they maneuver. And and I'm gonna share this and then we're gonna take a break. But because I really hope, and this is one reason why I did this, I really hope that women can be better friends to women. I really hope that we can have more conversations about this because it's needed. And I think we can always go to the table as a stronger unit when we go against, when we sit with men, and not go against, but to have those conversations that we need to have with them. We need to have several conversations with ourselves
Absolutely.
first. But and I don't share this often, but when my daughter turned 21, I chose women that, and I literally said this. I said, if God does not wake me up tomorrow, who would she have? And who does she go to? And I text all them women and I said, can you guys celebrate my daughter's 21st birthday with me? And can you bring her the advice that you wanted at the age of 21?
I didn't get a text.
You didn't get, I had
No.
texted you.
No.
But I did it and I couldn't imagine how beautiful it came out. Everyone just shared their heart with her. Things that, I really appreciate them telling her. And I literally feel like if I wasn't here, she would have an arsenal of women that she could go to and that would support her in this womanhood. Because as hard as it is for us out here, some of us have been married, some of us are mothers, some of us are just trying to feel our way. We're in this workforce. I can imagine what that looks like to a baby walking and trying to maneuver out here. So that's why we need to have these conversations. And that's why we can't look at a girl in R. Kelly video and say, she just fast. Look at her.
Right.
We got to stop that.
That's true.
We got to stop that. And we got to help them maneuver. A lot of them don't want to hear it, but they're going to be knocked on the heads a couple of times and they're going to be dying for it. What's going on? And you have to be in a place of acceptance and non-judgment and say, baby, look, they ain't do it. Everybody puts Monique down. Everybody needs to start listening to her.
No, I like Monique.
Yeah,
I'm a
I
Monique
like
fan.
Monique too.
She puts it down in a way, and when you come back and look back, she has some interesting. I don't agree with anything everybody says except Jesus on occasion, but but you take pieces of wisdom. We don't respect our elders and we don't listen to them. They've ran this race before, and things have changed, and we really need to. And I feel like I'm preaching, so I'm gonna stop and we're gonna take a break, and we're good.